What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Wrestling Fans Podcast. This is, I believe, Ep.8. It's been a long time since the last podcast that I did here on the TheGamingD YouTube channel. The last one was actually, goddamn, it was actually 3 years ago. It was in October of 2021, so we're creeping up on 4 years that it's been since my last podcast. Actually, is that true? Hold on, let me double check. I lied. You see it live right here. I lied. That was the first podcast. The last one that I did was last year, in April of last year. So literally almost a year ago, because we're literally just days from being in exactly a year. We're almost in October, or freaking October, April. Jesus, it's early in the morning, and I'm recording this, so you could see my tired bags under my eyes. But yeah, I kind of have, I've wanted to revive this podcast because it just gives me something to do, I guess. I'm still gonna have, like, my normal content that I have on this channel. The only difference is on here, it's pretty much going to be unedited unless there's, like, a truck driving by blaring its horn, or my dogs start barking, or I get a phone call or something. And I'm kind of going to change how I was doing it from before. Before, I was like I would pick specific topics, but it was just like I'd try to, like, just rush through everything. And these podcasts can range from, like, they could be 10 minutes, they could be 20 minutes, they could be an hour. It just depends on what I talk about, and it's all gonna be my opinion. And if you would like to see more of my opinion, more unfiltered, I guess I'd say, go ahead and on my screen, right there, you can follow my X account or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And on there, I am a big part of the internet wrestling community. And, yeah, you can go on there and leave a follow, and I make comments on everything wrestling related for the most part. If it involves... Jesus, it's early. If it involves WWE, I'm gonna probably talk about it. If it involves AEW, probably going to talk about it. I make comments here and there about free agents and everything coming from Japan. If I see specific things from the freaking indies, I'll say something about it. But yeah, I guess this is pretty much just gonna be like my opinion show of stuff relating to wrestling. I do have a few things that I saved on X to just talk about that's interesting, I guess. So to get into it is the first thing that I want to talk about. And by the way, this whole overlay is new. Well, let me take a sip. Nice little sip of some soda in the morning. What was I just saying? Oh, this overlay. I created it actually last night, and it has my two favorite wrestlers on it. I was gonna add a few more, but I'm just like, why? You know, like, just let's kind of make it simple. We have in the background the crowd from WrestleMania 40. So you can see everyone excited for what's going on at the show. We have Bray Wyatt here as like his OG character that made him great. And then we have The Undertaker from specifically my childhood. Like, I loved when he was the World Heavyweight Champion. When he won the Royal Rumble, went to WrestleMania, and ended up becoming the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania 23 against Batista. And that was my first wrestling pay-per-view, period, that I've ever watched live. All the other ones I've watched on VHS that my dad pre-recorded in the early 2000s before I was like aware of really like wrestling and everything. And I've obviously had the DVDs of pay-per-views. You know, there's a lot of stuff I watched. In 2007 was the year, man. I watched freaking WrestleMania. I watched the SummerSlam where Triple H and Rey Mysterio returned from injury from. I watched the Unforgiven pay-per-view, which I believe, unless I'm getting years mixed up, that I think it was John Cena and Edge in the TLC match. I think it was 2007. Let me look this up live here. 2007. Unforgiven. Let's see. Do. Okay. You know what? This is a good example of me showing you something that I did also. So we have a second screen here, as you can see. And with this, I can show you me. I can show you what I'm looking at right now. And, yeah, it's pretty cool that I can do this. And also, I have The Fiend. It has to be one of the all-time favorite character that I've ever watched on TV. I love The Undertaker. He is my favorite all-time. But The Fiend was just something different and special, and I love it. I love it. Okay, so the match card. Yeah. I'm thinking of the year before. Unforgiven. Because I remember watching this specifically, and I remember where I was, but I remember I fell asleep because of how late it was. But yeah, the main event was Undertaker versus Mark Henry, where the Undertaker won by pinfall after executing a last ride. Dude, a last ride on Mark Henry? Dude, that's wild. Yeah, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Cena lost the match by disqualification, but won the match. CM Punk versus Elijah Burke for the ECW Championship. Punk won. Freaking Great Khali versus Batista versus Rey Mysterio in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Triple H versus Carlito. That's the most random, but yeah, it's wild, you know. And it's funny seeing these numbers right here for the how many pay-per-view buys that they had, because if you compare that to AEW, yeah, they don't get that many buys. They don't get almost 300,000 buys. Like 2006, almost 300,000. They had 210,000 buys for this year's. For 2007's, AEW's getting like, I think just over like 100,000. Yeah, which it's wild. It's wild. And pay-per-views back then, I don't know what they cost now, but back then they were like $50 to $60. Now I'm guessing they're maybe a little cheaper, because pay-per-view isn't really a thing anymore, other than the UFC. Everything else is like a subscription, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was a interesting time in my life to experience wrestling. Like, I loved every second of it. And if you can go back and watch any of that stuff from 2007, I definitely recommend. Alright, so now I do want to talk about something with my YouTube channel specifically. So, let's cut back to this cam. So, here's my YouTube channel. Welcome if you've never been here. This screen is a little, like, weird. I'm gonna have to, like, finagle with it a little bit. Because I want it a little zoomed in, but not also showing my taskbar and, like, what tabs I have. So, yeah, we'll have to finagle it. But YouTube's just, like, weird, you know. Anyway. For the YouTube channel, thank you for everybody who has subscribed of recent. We have a lot of AEW content on the channel. As you can see, we have 10 ways to revive AEW. AEW will never recover. We have a video about Mercedes Moné, which I can elaborate on some of that stuff. A what-if scenario with what if MJF signed with WWE in 2024. Was CM Punk the problem in AEW? I don't know. How Tony Khan himself can revive AEW. And then we got some videos about the fans of AEW. And yeah, it's those ones did pretty good. But if you would like to check out any of my other videos, these what if series are kind of, they're make-believe, I guess. I'm coming up with the scenarios of what's happening. So, what if Roman Reigns won that WrestleMania 40? I turn it, treat it like he won, and then go from there and tell you what could have happened if he was the one that won the championship instead of Cody at WrestleMania last year. And then I have, like, opinion pieces, like who actually killed WCW. I think that's a very good video. I recommend checking it out. The story of ECW's The Zombie. That's an interesting story. Me talking about the Wyatt Six when they came back, or when they showed up. The story of the Boogeyman. I busted Will Ospreay here. This is a really good video, Mount Rushmore Wrestling. And yeah, just like a bunch of other random videos. One of the last podcasts I did. But yeah, it's I appreciate everyone who has stuck around. I'll show you this real quick. Yeah, we're closing in on 2,000 subscribers, so it would be nice to reach that eventually. So yeah, and yeah, it's a good time. The channel is doing pretty well for the most part, so I appreciate every single one of you. So to get into one of the first topics for the video, boom, bada boom, bada bang. Now you might hear this noise in the background pretty soon, which is my heater. Sorry about that. But referee Jessica Carr is supposedly going to be a wrestler. I know she is a giant WWE fan and has been a giant wrestling fan for her whole life. There's videos of her as a young woman with like other wrestlers from her like growing up and everything. So she loves the business. She became a referee, you know, she lost a bunch of weight, which is amazing. And now she is becoming a wrestler. We don't know specifically because she didn't say anything. WWE hasn't said anything, but I guess she's wrestling in Evolve, or I almost said AEW, WWE's new, like they revived Evolve. It was a indie promotion before, but now it's became kind of like another NXT for WWE. It's pretty good. You know, it's getting a bunch of people from indie promotions and they're bringing them there. You know, they get to wrestle, they get to show off their skill, and from there they could get signed to WWE, could get signed to NXT. You know, it's a crazy world that we're living in where there's these many different tiers, I guess, of shows for people to watch, you know, under the WWE umbrella. We had WWE NXT UK. We have the regular NXT. We had 205 Live. We have WWE Speed on X. That's on every week, which is just like real quick matches. Now, there's definitely more that I'm forgetting. I know that they are kind of planning to expand NXT in different regions again. Because I know a couple years ago, or at least just last year, it was going around that WWE was like trying to open up a NXT Japan, trying to open one in like India, trying to do another one in like the UK. There's like a lot that they are trying to do. And yeah, it's crazy just how much stuff that they have. Plus, on top of it, they have their kind of partnership with all these other small indie promotions. So now, oh, and they have the freaking WWE ID or whatever. It's literally where they go around and can show up at an indie promotion that they're partnered with and give people contracts to NXT. It's very cool. It's very, very cool that they have this much stuff, just to like build up WWE as like their main brand. You know, WWE, Raw, and SmackDown. That's their main brand. NXT is like the second brand, but without NXT and without all these other avenues of places for people to come into WWE, you know, we wanted to have all these amazing stars. Like, NXT is filled with great people. A lot of them never wrestled a day in their life before being in NXT. They were just athletes. But there's also a good portion of them who were great on the indies and are thriving in NXT. So it's a good time. It's going to be very interesting for Jessica Carr here to become a wrestler. She's the first, I believe, the first woman to become a full-time referee in WWE. So if she does the complete switch to becoming a wrestler instead of being a ref, it's going to be sad not seeing her ref matches. But if wrestling is her calling, let it be, you know? If she would rather put a mask on and wrestle her heart out, go for it. So that's something that is very interesting to talk about. Let's see, the next thing that we have here is a video of John Cena's father. Okay, so I'm going to switch over here, and this is John Cena's dad. Now, the post is John Cena's father has had enough of people asking him about his son's heel turn. So it's funny because people on the internet are just like, oh my god, John Cena turns heel and now his dad turned heel. So it's pretty funny that this is the case. But let's listen to what he's got to say. Okay. so his dad is like, he's a wrestling guy, 100%. Has been forever. I believe he did like some like indie promotion stuff. I don't know if he still does in like his local area that he lives. But yeah, he pulled his son. He pulled John Cena, which he's John Cena also. If you didn't know that. John Cena that we know is a junior, but anyway, yeah, he did a wrestling promo on some fans asking him some questions. So yeah, it's pretty funny that John Cena's dad pulled a John Cena and got a little heelish on that little promo there. So yeah, that's pretty funny that I saw that this morning. It's pretty good. And about John Cena's heel turn, a lot of people are just not really happy about it, which I don't understand why people are so upset about this heel turn. I don't understand it, honestly. John Cena was a good guy for a very, very long time, from like 2005 or 2006. I think it's 2005, all the way up until this year. He was a good guy. And him kind of like putting his, I don't want to say putting his soul, but kind of like his career on the line, when it comes to becoming a heel, is, you know, it could change everything. You know, it's his final year as a wrestler. Okay, at the end of this year, he's just gonna put the suit on. He's gonna do stuff backstage whenever he's involved with WWE, and that's it. So him going heel the way he did was perfect. It was perfect, and I don't understand why people don't understand. I don't understand why people don't understand. Like, if you're gonna have a guy that's been the guy for over 20 years, and you want him to turn heel, how's he gonna do it? He's gonna go after the biggest guy in WWE right now, which is Cody. He's gonna want that championship, and he's gonna assert himself in everything possible because he's earned it over time from just being in the company for so long. Like, who gets to be like, I don't need to earn my spot, I deserve to be in the Royal Rumble? He doesn't win that. Okay. Right after the Royal Rumble, I don't need to compete. I'm putting myself in the Elimination Chamber. Who gets to do that? John Cena. And why did he get away with it? Because he's been there the longest. You know, he's earned it over the years, and it's his final year, so they're just like, here you go. Go for it. And after he wins the Elimination Chamber and gets his WrestleMania match that he wanted, he turns heel. Teams up with The Rock. You know, his first promo as a heel comes out and blames the fans for everything. Why he did what he did. The fans are ungrateful. They just want more and more. You know, he started picking on little kids in the crowd. Like, I don't get why people hate it so much. I understand that he's not there as much as people would like, but his heel turn, I think, was perfect. I might end up doing like a full video on it at some point, but this is my prediction right here. I think, and this is my prediction because of things that I've heard and seen. So, it's rumored or confirmed, I don't know what you want to call it, that Ric Flair is going to be at WrestleMania this year to watch John Cena's match. I think WWE invited him to watch the match. Now, with that being said, on the internet, Ric Flair has been vocal, saying he doesn't want Cena to win. He doesn't deserve to beat his record because of how he went about it, blah, 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 blah. Ric Flair is playing character right now. Does Ric Flair actually want his record beaten? Probably not. Because he's held it for so long. And I think Cena's is a little more impressive because John Cena's 16 championship reigns have been under one umbrella. It's been under WWE. Ric Flair's has been through multiple federations. You know, WCW, NWA, freaking WWF, and then whatever other ones that he's his championships have been counted as for him. So John Cena's is more impressive since it's under just one company. Won it 16 times, possibly 17 in a few weeks. But he's gonna be there at WrestleMania, and to me it makes sense. He's gonna be there supporting Cody. Something's gonna happen to where Rick ends up like in the ring or ringside or something, and he's gonna end up costing Cody Rhodes the championship, and that would be amazing. Like, imagine Ric Flair is the reason why John Cena broke his record. Like, talk about, like, it would be a disappointment to fans because they wouldn't expect something like that, but it would be perfect. Perfect way to pass the torch, if I may say myself. Dude, my freaking pillow is a little crooked. Is my pillow crooked or am I crooked? Anyway, yeah, that's my prediction for WrestleMania with John Cena and Cody. Now, another thing I want to get into is something involving a woman who has been out of wrestling for a minute now. We have Mandy Rose. I think that was her wrestling name. Mandy Sachs. Mandy Sachs. She was in WWE. She was in the last season of Tough Enough, for people that don't know, in like 2015, 2016. I don't remember when it was. She had some very memorable moments with like Otis on like Raw. I thought she was a good wrestler. Like, I thought she was a very good wrestler. She, out of all of the people in that Tough Enough, the two people that I thought were amazing in the ring were her and Velveteen Dream, which we know what happened with Velveteen Dream. I would, even though it's controversial, I would like to see him eventually make like a comeback of some sort, because he's just got that talent that's just being wasted, all because he was an idiot, just making very bad decisions in life. But yeah, out of all of the people that ended up getting the contracts from that, Mandy was the runner-up out of the women. She lost because of a popular vote. Like, they actually went off of fan votes back then. And, yeah, she came in second place. The first, second, and third place women all got WWE contracts. And I think for the men, it was only the first and second. And, yeah, none of them really worked out. But anyway, so there was this post that WWE made about Stephanie here in NXT becoming the first ever women's NXT double champion, because she had the NXT Women's Championship, I believe. No, she had the Women's North American Championship, and then she won the NXT Women's Championship, which makes her a double champion in NXT. Meanwhile, as you can see here, Mandy at one point was a double champion. And oh, my heater just turned off, so thankfully it's a little more quieter. If that was annoying for a while, I'm sorry. Yeah, she was a double champion in NXT. And Mandy made a post saying, haha, yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it? Thanks for the recognition, though. Appreciate you, as like a petty post about this here. And the community note is hilarious. I don't know if you can see it, but it says Mandy Rose was not a double champion. She unified the two titles into one. That doesn't make her a double champion. Stephanie, however, won both titles separately and defended them as two titles. So, the whole thing behind her being the first double champion in NXT, technically, she had two belts, but she wasn't a double champion. So NXT UK was being shut down, and they decided, like, okay, let's just merge the two. Let's bring the people from NXT UK to the regular NXT. And the two champions fought, and the whole purpose was they're just gonna merge the championships, so there's one NXT Women's Champion instead of having two. So that's what they did. She won. Right after that, boom, they merged it. It's one championship. That's it. So she was the overall undisputed NXT Women's Champion with one belt, because this belt just became this belt. So she got a little petty with it. Now she got fired because she was like doing like a freaking subscription thing for fans, and it got inappropriate, and that's not allowed in WWE. Like, you're not allowed to do like sell pictures of yourself on the internet that are you in like lingerie and stuff. You're not allowed to do that. But they had her drop the belt on TV. Next day, fired her. After they found out about that stuff. So, yeah, she's a little upset still because of that. But this is her. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Can you hear it? Just want to make sure. Okay. Now, with that is like one of the most petty things you can see in wrestling. There's other things that go on that are similar to this, but it's like she's not involved in wrestling anymore. And for her to straight up be like, I did it first. I did it. I'm going to admit that the whole point of the match was to unify them, but I walked out of the building with two belts. And when I came on, the show the following week, I only had one because I unified them. But, I still am the first ever, double champ in NXT for the women. I don't understand. Like, that that post got to me. I thought it was hilarious. Um, and yeah, we have this one. Did Mandy have two? This is a good example. Did Mandy have two matches in one night defending that UK title and the NXT title? Didn't the UK title disappear after that night? It did. It disappeared. Roman Reigns wasn't considered a double champion. He was the undisputed champion. He was. And Stephanie, she is phenomenal. She's phenomenal. She's doing such a good job in NXT. Like, people gave her a little crap at first because she was on the indies. She was denied like a contract with NXT like a few years ago. She went on the indies to learn more, gained popularity in like Mexico and, going to all these other places. She went and did some stuff in AEW, which people believe that's how she gained the attention again from WWE. And instead of her signing with NXT after she had a match with Mercedes Moné, she signs with WWE because that was her all-time goal. She used an AEW to get back to WWE. And with WWE, they gave her the choice. Do you want to go to the main roster or do you want to go to NXT? And she's just like, I need to go to NXT. I need to learn English better. And also needs to just learn more in the ring for like how WWE wants stuff done. And she's amazing. She's been great since she's been with the company. She's just a phenomenal athlete and very entertaining. But Mandy, I'm sorry, girl. But you were not a double champ. You unified them into one. That's the whole point of the match. So, as much as you want to say it, you are not ever a double champion in the WWE. So I'm sorry. You can think you're right or not, but so another thing here, we got this one right here that I thought was hilarious. Kevin Nash says Mercedes Moné has become a lazy wrestler in AEW. Sasha, or whatever her name is now, CEO, I watched her last match, and man, she's phoning her stuff in big time. That's not the same girl I watched tear down the house in Brooklyn with Bayley back in WWE. And that's on his own podcast with Click This. And personal opinion, I agree. I made a video. If you want to check it out here, let's go back to the channel here. Okay. Oh, yeah. This one right here. What happened? What happened to Mercedes Moné? I made a whole video on this girl, and she's changed a lot since going to AEW. Dude, do you hear that? It's a freaking plane flying over. I literally live in like a zone where planes are coming straight at my house. It's rough out here, boys. But yeah, since she went to AEW, she's just changed entirely. I loved her in WWE. Her promos were way better in WWE because somebody else was writing them for her. Now she's able to just freeball everything that she does in AEW because that's what everyone in that company does. There's no structure. Then you have she has all these championships from all these different promotions. Why do you need all those, and why do you need to show them all on TV? Like, no one gives a damn that you won a belt from an indie company that you won in front of like 100 people. No one cares, okay? Nobody cares at all. Yeah, just no one cares. And she's just been like, it's been lazy. It's just been, I don't know if it's just the money got to her head, if Tony Khan is just like feeding her, like, you're the best to ever do this. Like, I love you so much. Like, oh, you need a ride in my jet? Here you go, I just don't know, but he's not lying. And Kevin Nash has some like harsh opinions about specific stuff, but he comes from the era where it's just straight from the heart. Like, if he feels a certain way, he's gonna express it. And The Undertaker's the same way. And they all get hate for it on the internet. Like, oh, you're so out of touch, you're such an old timer, blah, blah, blah. No. It's not how it goes. It doesn't matter. Like, they have an opinion. They know how stuff should be done. Okay? They did it properly for years. So, yeah, I don't understand. And there's if you guys know, with this whole scenario, I personally, when I saw this, I'm like, ooh, that sucks. Like, that is rough. And then I continued to watch the video. I'm not going to show it here. If you want to look it up, go look it up. Find it somewhere. You can probably find it on their YouTube channel. But, like, that stuff, in my opinion, I've said it before. YouTube channel. Where is it? Right here. Too much blood. Tony Khan ruined wrestling. Too much blood. Rob Van Dam voiced his opinion on this stuff, which he was part of the original ECW. And in ECW, they had things like this, but it was more of like, they did more stuff with like barbed wire and didn't like use glass. They used tables, chairs, kendo sticks, stuff like that. But Rob Van Dam says the more AEW does stuff like like the spike spot in Mox versus Cope, which freaking Cope, dude. Cope. Man went from Adam Copeland to Cope. The more he'd rather associate with WWE than AEW. That's not wrestling to me, obviously. It's sacrificing a lot for the business. I mean, that could be said about it. But the more AEW has been doing stuff like that, the more personally, I feel like... What the fuck? The more personally, I feel like I would rather be associated with WWE than AEW. A couple of years ago, it was like, man, they're growing. They're trying things to get up there. And then there's a feeling, then there's a feel that the inmates are running the prison. I feel like I said something like that the other day on here. Where is it? Where's my page? Where? Come on. How do I? Oh, profile. This is my page, if you want to follow me, of the top AEW hater. Let's see. Right here, I said this just the other day. Which was yesterday, actually. Because these people are saying that it's Adam Copeland believes that, AEW is a bit punk rock. And it's not punk rock. The kids are running the school. It's a complete cluster. Imagine what AEW could do with solid structure, and Tony Khan being a boss would change the direction of AEW. Yeah. That's pretty much how it is, you know? Like, AEW, they are trying everything to get views. Like, AEW is literally trying everything to get views, and as many as they possibly can. And they're still losing to NXT, which NXT is a developmental brand. They use it to create stars. AEW is supposed to already have stars. And you have all these legends from wrestling that are there and show up. You have these people that show up from other promotions. You have, you know, their set people who are stars in the company. And they're losing. And they're trying all these things. You know, they're putting, like, Darby Allin through glass, through, you know, jumping off, you know, 30 feet to the floor on a couple chairs. You know, they have this stuff with Jon Moxley where it seems like he's bleeding every week. You know, the guy sneezes and somehow there's a slice across his forehead and he's just gushing. You know, now they're suplexing him onto these nails are like that long. Like, they're good, like, you know, 4 to 6 inch nails. And he got suplexed right onto it. And look, it's sticking onto his back. And yes, it brought eyes on the internet to AEW. But it didn't make it so the next week people are like, oh, let's watch the show. Because they're still, like, not where they were a couple years ago. Like, they're still struggling to break 600,000 viewers on a consistent basis. And these last few weeks, like, maybe the last month, each show is going up. Dynamite's going up. So their main show of the week. And then their show on Saturday flops. Like, it gets like 300,000, you know, viewers during that. And it's not helping anything. You're putting your superstars at risk. Like, look at these nails, dude. Like, that could have seriously hurt him, and they're like, whatever, you know? Tony Khan's like, Moxley, you gonna do this, or are you sure? Are you okay with this? And obviously he's gonna be okay with it, because the guy's a freaking nut. But, you know, they're just trying to feed in to those sickos. Those AEW sickos who just love the company. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, and then we got this here, which I want to play some of this. This is kind of how I'll wrap this podcast episode up on. Swerve Strickland says that he knew he was being bull around in the PC Performance Center after he gave a killer Cruiserweight Championship match after SmackDown and had 6K fans going crazy, and Samoa Joe, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and Kofi Kingston gave him crazy praise after the match. He said when he got back to the PC, they had it back in arm drag classes. They're trying to tell me how to entertain 400 people in NXT when I just entertained 6,000 in a stadium. Now, let's listen to what he's got to say.
See, it was like when I was there for like 3 or 4 months, and I got called to do 205 Live against Drew Gulak, who had the Cruiserweight Championship. 205 Live is a show that takes place after SmackDown. So after SmackDown, you see the Roman Reigns, you see all these big names. They had the boom, 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 boom clash SmackDown main events, and they close off SmackDown. Then they do like another show, for the extra content on the WWE Network at the time. And it was 3 matches they had, and we were the last one, so we had to go last on that night in Miami after you've seen all the stars. And it was me and Drew Gulak. We went 18 minutes in the ring straight for the Cruiserweight Championship. Everybody's on their feet, going crazy. I have Swerve's house signs, like going after Roman. I have Swerve's house signs. They're not chanting "This is awesome." They're chanting "Let's go Swerve." They're actually rooting for me to win this title. I end up losing to Drew Gulak. Got great praise in the back coming afterwards. Charlotte, Bayley, Kofi, like all giving me crazy, like Samoa Joe. Everybody's giving me crazy praise. I come back to the PC and they're trying to teach you arm drags again. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. They're trying to tell me how to entertain 400 people in NXT when I just entertained 6,000 in the stadium. I'm like, why are you trying to backtrack me? Because I already showcased what I can do in front of 6,000, which is, well, mind you, that's the end game to all this, right? The end game is to get me there of what this product is. Right? That's like you don't bring the guy from the G League, he drops 30 in the NBA and come back to practice back at the G League and it's like, let's put him on the bench. And let's he needs more development. I'm like, I just dropped 30 on Giannis. What are we doing? So that was the mindset I had, and it was like kind of too brash. It was too overthinking, bullshitted around.
Okay. So my opinion on that is Swerve. I'll give him his credit. He's entertaining. He's an entertaining guy. He's really revived his career. He's at his peak right now. He cannot get any higher right now. The only way he could get higher is if he leaves and goes back to WWE and gets into like the world title picture there and can stay at a main event level in WWE. Right now, he's peaked in AEW. He's won the championship, held it for a while. He can win it again. He can win it again. He can win it again. There's nothing more for him to do. He can win all the smaller championships. But right now, all he can do in AEW is feud with whoever's there. And when he was in WWE, I forgot what the name of the group was that he was a part of when he was in NXT, and then they bumped them up to SmackDown, and then he got released during the time. And during his time in WWE, Vince McMahon was still in control of everything, so things are different now, completely different. Now they're giving people the options. If they sign somebody off the indies and they're really good, they give them the option. Do you want to go to SmackDown? Do you want to go to Raw? Do you want to go to NXT? You know? But what I'm going to say might upset some AEW fans, but Swerve is an idiot. Okay? When he signed a NXT contract, it has been known for years at this point. Because NXT has been a thing since like 2012. How it was at a smaller level, but like it is the same concept, like developmental brand. You know, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Bo Dallas, Big E, all those people. There's way more, you know. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe went there, you know, friggin' all these people. It's known as a developmental brand. And what that is you go in there and they train you the way they want you to be trained. There's a specific way WWE wants their wrestlers to wrestle and to be presented, and they want to polish every single person that comes in, no matter your skill level. You could have went and wrestled in front of 50,000 people in Japan. But if you're going to WWE and you sign a NXT developmental contract, you are going to learn the stuff WWE wants you to learn before you get put up to the main roster. And he signed the contract. He signed it. Like, pen to paper, he signed it. Like, hey, I'm joining the NXT brand. You know, the developmental brand. I'm signing it. And then he's going to get mad because they're like, okay, SmackDown ended. We need someone for the dark match, or the, I think it was 205 Live at the time, which is after the show. We need somebody to face the Cruiserweight Champion in front of these people. He did it. Next day, he's still part of NXT. Just because he did a dark match, he's still part of NXT. And I believe at this time, I think the Cruiserweight Championship was switched from, like, you know, having its own thing to now it's part of the rotation in NXT, which now it's gone. But he expected, because he did this match, that now he still doesn't have to do the stuff he was doing the day before he had that match. You still have to fulfill your contract that you have with NXT. You still need to complete all the stuff that they want you to learn and everything. But he thinks that he's better than other people, and he deserves, like, you think I'm going to learn how to do an arm drag, dude? I just wrestled in front of a SmackDown crowd, and you want me to go and do this stuff now? It blows my mind what these wrestlers do. And, like, my title on X is perfect. I am an AEW hater, and I dislike so much stuff about it. I used to like it, but now these wrestlers that go there are so cocky and so just, oh, it triggers me. Just how so stuck up they are. It's like, Swerve, listen, dude. You're good in the ring, but you signed a contract for a developmental brand. Why are you going to complain when you have to go back and do the developmental part of it? Like, that's just part of your job. You're getting paid to do that. And and then he says in it, specifically, he's like, oh, I entertained 6,000 people in a stadium. Now, bro, a stadium is what they had for WrestleMania. When you got 50,000 people, that's a stadium. When you're wrestling in front of 6,000 people, you're in an arena. You're in, like, a basketball arena. You know, you're in a hockey arena. You're not in a basketball stadium, because there's not that big of a stadium for freaking basketball. They don't do that. That's for football or like soccer. And so he doesn't know the difference between an arena or stadium, which is minor, but it's just, come on, figure it out. And he's saying, I just wrestled in front of 6,000 people. Okay, that's 6,000 people for the show. Now, what I remember from back in those 205 Live days, and, you know, knowing dark matches, after the main show's over, a lot of people leave. A lot. No one really liked 205 Live. That's why it is gone. They just, they were trying to give these wrestlers like a platform to do stuff on and to be unique and everything. But it just didn't work. The viewership wasn't there. It's not like AEW that will do like 150,000 viewers for the show and be happy about it. WWE is just like, it's not even worth our time. So yeah, they eventually completely got rid of it, but I'm gonna guess at least half of those people that were there left during his match or before his match. Because once the show is over, think about it. At the time, it's what? 10, 11 o'clock at night? You think people want to stay there for another like hour to 2 hours for like these dark matches? Probably not. So, these people are gone, especially a 205 Live match, man. Go back and look at those crowds. It looked like a freaking AEW show right currently. It's just like, dude, I just don't understand his cockiness. I just don't I don't understand. And there's so many people. There's so many people that went from WWE to AEW, and why do they have to act this way? They're not better than, they're not the best thing in the world. They think they are. They're wrestling for an indie promotion right now. Like, AEW is doing so bad. I want to see what their numbers are. Because it's like, they must have lost a lot of money last year going into this year. They're slowly starting to gain their popularity back, and they're starting to, like, because they downgraded their venues greatly. They went from, like, 10,000 people buildings to, like, 2,000 to 4,000. So that's a lot of people, and they're starting to, like, sell those places out again. Or there'll be like a couple hundred tickets that are left over. But like, for these wrestlers to think that they're like top tier is just wild, man. I just don't understand. But yeah, Swerve thinks he's the man, and that's just kind of how it is. Okay, and do I have anything else to talk about? Don't think I do. For this episode of the podcast. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this. If anyone is watching. If you would like to, go ahead and check out my my Twitter. Or X account. I do not have a lot of followers, but I post almost every day for the most part. I make a lot of comments on posts. Like this new signee, she thinks she's gonna be leaving Japan and going to AEW, and Mercedes Moné is the big decision on why she's going over to AEW instead of going to WWE. But like I said in this comment, she might be a big factor that Mercedes is in AEW for her, but what she doesn't realize that Tony is going to continue to book Mercedes to win. So she's not going to be the star that she's going to hope she is in the States, because she's not going to win the big matches that she's hoping for. Man. But yeah, I And Booker T said some stuff here about what Swerve said. Because listen to this. Listen to this.
Because I'm black, I've been working for the company for a long time, and I know I've been treated fair for the last 20 years.
That's Booker T
That's
that
not
said
like
that.
when Vince says the N-word in front of you. That's not being treated fair. My opinion. And to that statement, it's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying what people are saying. I'm saying what your audience is saying. So it's not just me just talking out of my ass out of nowhere. It's what your audience has been complaining about for the better part of like 2-3 years from not seeing black talent even getting single matches on PLEs and stuff like that.
Now, I can agree during the Vince McMahon era that he did not really treat people of color, whether, or even like foreign people, like, the Asian people, Indian people, and then you got the African American people. He didn't really treat them the greatest. But from someone like Booker T, who came up through it and has been with the company for years, he hasn't seen anything relating to, like, race being a problem or race being the reason why people aren't getting pushed. Recently, Triple H said something. I think it might have been last year or something. So, not really recently, but he said, because somebody asked him after a pay-per-view, like, why, like, why isn't there more people of color in, like, the pay-per-view card? Like, are you going to consider adding more people of color to the cards in the future? And he said, I don't see color. I see talent. And, if he finds you talented enough to get a spot on the show, there you go. You get to be on the show. But if just because you're a minority doesn't mean that, like, okay, we need to have you on the show no matter what. It's like, are you talented enough? Do the fans like you enough? Is there something entertaining about you that makes us want to put you in these situations? A lot of the situations, no. But I made a response to somebody. I can't find it here on my X. But I made a response like, look at freaking NXT right now. When they say, like, something about color, there's a lot of people with color, like, in main spots on NXT. Look at the current NXT champion. And, like, if it's not somebody of color, it's somebody of, like, a foreign heritage, whether it's somebody from Japan, somebody from Mexico, everyone's needs are being met. And they're doing a very good job in NXT right now. Currently on the main roster of WWE, there's not that many entertaining people of color currently. Once, these people get brought up from NXT, then it's going to be a completely different story. But, like, there's a good amount of women. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Nia Jax. They're doing great. It's, I don't know. And the fans who say this stuff also, it's like, it's not mandatory for this stuff. Like, I obviously we would all like to see it, but it's like, if the company, we're at the point in our lives as people that the color of your skin doesn't really matter. It's more of it's more of your talent in the ring, and if you're entertaining and the crowd connects with you, all that stuff. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't get what people are all upset about. You know, it's like the wrestling community is constantly upset, and I will never understand why. I will never understand why. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of end it there. We've been on for over an hour, so hopefully you guys enjoyed some of my opinions on wrestling, WWE, these random things. Occasionally on this podcast, I'm gonna go off topic from this stuff and kind of go on to like what's been going on Raw or SmackDown or NXT. Yeah, I'm gonna mainly focus on WWE. And occasionally mention AEW stuff, but when I do that, more than likely, I'm gonna be complaining about it. So, yeah. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy episode 8, I believe, of this podcast. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.